Howdy folks, how you going? Welcome to the kitchen. That means it's time for the next episode of Extractaganza. We're up to episode 21 and this episode we're basing our brew on Morgan's Dockside Stout. I think this is the second stout we've done. We've done the Irish stout. We're doing the Dockside, and this is a brew I'm going to put down to the credit of Mullos, James, one of the patrons. This is inspired by a brew he does, and I've had some bottles of his over the last few years. That is a Choc ginger stout. Now his recipe is a variation on a recipe he was given, and this today is now a variation on that recipe. So we're all bastardising recipes and then mucking around and changing them. But this is my version of Mullos' Choc ginger stout. It's into winter, I know that. By the time you actually, right now it's like the first, I think it's the 7th, so a week into winter. I'm going to try and turn this one over reasonably quickly, so hopefully it's not too late into the month when you do this, because this beer actually drinks reasonably good when it's fresh and young. So I think you might have time to still get into for winter. At the very worst, early into autumn. I think it's a beer that certainly carries through into the slightly warmer weather of the year. So Morgan's Dockside Stout. Morgan's ginger beer. Now don't panic if you don't think you can get hold of this. I know as of this date right now, Morgan's are resupplying homebrew shops. Homebrew shops have been able to order this week, just gone. With the new Morgan's, I think this is now going to come out in the little white screw cap tubs. So by the time this video is out, you should certainly be able to find your Morgan's ginger beer back in your local brew shops. And to that I'm going to add 1 can of the Morgan's Extra Pale Mastermalt unhopped extract, because I have this in the cupboard and I need to find a reason, some way of using it, and this is what we're going to use it on. To that's our base. There's 3 tins, and this 100 grams each of chocolate wheat and chocolate rye, and that's going to give us some extra depth of flavour. It's going to give us our chocolate, and it's also going to give us a little bit extra darkness in the malt, a bit of richness. So nice and simple. I've got about 4 litres of water over here, sitting at somewhere around 70-75 degrees. I haven't measured it exactly. It's in that sort of ballpark, as long as you've got it, nice little steeping temp. And throwing my grain in. And it's been crushed up. In she goes. Give them a little bit of a mix. That's there. And I'm going to let that sit for half an hour. So about every 10 minutes I'm going to come back, just give a little bit of a mix just to make sure those grains are getting into the water. But that's it. Mullos' recipe, and certainly the recipe he was following, had some hops in it. There was a bit of talk of Cascade and a dry hop. I'm not going to add any hops to this. I'm just running with the tins, looking to get a fairly flavoursome beer regardless. I don't think we need hops, so I think the chocolate and the ginger are going to be the main players. So I'm not really needing the hops to bring anything extra. The Dockside Stout is fairly well hopped according to the numbers I'm getting on the brew. So I don't think it really needs anything extra to bring it up. If you're using maybe a lighter stout, then maybe think about it. But for this one, I'm not going there. I will put in the comments, so in the description, I will put the original recipe that these brews have progressed from, because it actually looks like quite a nice little recipe. It's just a little it's a little steep of malt with a bit of grated ginger, a little bit of a boil, and then the ingredients added. I'm thinking this is going to get us a replication somewhere near it without actually going extra. I didn't get ginger, I forgot to get it, so anyway. So we're going to let that and we'll come back. Okay, that's been steeping for half an hour as the sun sets slowly in the west. Apologise for the tongue tied. I'm half a glass into a Dayton Dark Lord Imperial Stout. The old tongue's loosened up a little bit. Anyway, so we pull this out. While that was steeping, I was thinking about throwing some hops in, but I just stuck with the idea and said no. So there we are. I'm now going to bring this to a boil, and I just want to boil this for 10 minutes, just to make sure we kill any bugs that are in there. That's all we need. So, going to come into a boil. I'll come back soon. Okay. 10-minute boil is done. Now, the ginger beer comes in a little sachet of yeast nutrient. I've thrown that in. I mean, we've got plenty of nutrient in here with the beer. It's normally needed to the ginger beer because there is not as much stuff in there. But why waste it? So we're going to mix this stuff straight into this boiled water, each can. And I'm doing it off the heat, A, because we don't need to boil this stuff, and also to help it make sure it doesn't scorch. Because all I need to do is just mix this in. And we'll stir up. Don't know how well that's showing up, but that bloody stout, that is very thick. It's very, very dark. So yeah, it's not mucking around. A bit of water to use in there, but anyway. I've got none of the jugs, so I boiled the jug earlier for the water in this pot and used it all. So I haven't even got bloody some more water floating around. Oh, a bit of a fuck up. We'll edit that out. That'll do it. Got shit away from me. Anyway, all good. So that's all mixed in. So we'll head out in the garage. We'll get the this into the fermenter. Righto. I've got 14 litres just straight tap water ready to go. And we'll pour our mix in, and see how much of a mess we can make. Well, I'll be minimal mess. Okay, 21. I'll thought we had about 7 litres in there. That jug gets us pretty close to 23. Give it a quick mix and we'll get a gravity reading. Now this is going to be a little bit too warm, I'd imagine, just at the moment for pitch yeast. And yeah, she's about 26 degrees. A little bit, just a little warm. That's alright. We'll get a gravity reading. And again, because I've used a good whack of tap water in there, I don't really need to mix that a hell of a lot, because I do have a fair whack of oxygen in there. Got to use a syringe to get a sample. A pipette for the refrac has met its untimely demise on the last brew day. Okay, so that's telling me 1056. Good enough to 1056. Maybe not. 1050. We'll call it 1055. 1054, 1055, 1056. It's in that blurry read. Without get an actual hydrometer on it, I'm not going to get a fully accurate reading. So we'll go in the middle ground, 1055. That's all good. So I'll get this into the ferment fridge. I'll get it starting to cool down a little bit. I'll get yeast on this before bedtime. It's only 5:30 now, just after. So I'll get yeast on this. I'm going to pitch 2 packs of USA 5. Realistically, you could use any sort of neutral yeast you want. You know, a Windsor, a London, Nottingham, BRY97, M42, M44. I think like an M12, a Liberty Ale would go really, Liberty Bell would go really nice on this, but I don't have any. Yeah, realistically, I think something pommy-ish would probably be a better option. I've only got 1 pack of any of those in there. I'll have a look. I might have 2 packs of London. I can only spot one. I'll have another look before I pitch, and I'll stick that. I'll let you know on tasting day where we actually went. So that's the plant at the moment, 05. So anyway, that's ready to tuck away. Well, get this put away, and I will see you in about a month's time, very shortly, for tasting. Well folks, there we have it. Free can Choc Ginger Stout, ready to go. It's been a long time coming. Now, I will acknowledge, earlier in the video I was talking about having time to get this brewed for the end of winter. when I did brew day, it was before I decided I was doing dry July. So this video was due, normally would have dropped about a month ago. So apologise if there's any confusion. Now that's sort of, yeah, that's got you a bit bloody confused going through. But here we are. So got the stool running here, so hopefully it's not causing too much issue in the background. I will have to swap a jar here just in a minute, but that's going to stop us from doing too much. Anyway, let's have a bit of a look here. I said original gravity of 1055. We fermented with the 2 packs of Ale5 at 19 degrees. It fermented for 5 days and got down to pretty much terminal gravity. Up to 22 degrees. Left it there for a week. And then dropped it to 2 degrees, done a cold crash. It ended up cold crashing for another 8 days and went into the keg on the 28th of June. So I said brew day was the 8th of June. So as it obviously was planning on getting tasty done a bit earlier. But anyway, right, sitting here right now, I'm just keep getting this waft of the ginger coming up out of this beer. Now I did give one to Mullos. When was that? That was when we did the brew day out of Buller Creek with the red IPA. I dropped the bottle off to him, and he has cracked it. Tells me it was, his comment was it's bloody good. And I did have a taste of this on the day I kegged it, which was a little bit too early. But yeah, it's got there's a very strong, good nose of ginger. And of course that's going to be, there's the full tin of ginger in there. So essentially we've got a full strength ginger beer sitting within the beer. So that's going to make some sense. You saw there, poured an absolutely beautiful, thick, nice, dense head. Yeah, it's settled, but it's lovely, tan, heavy. It's sticking to the glass very nicely. The beard black. I've got my bloody light behind me there, and I'm not even getting ruby hints around the edge. It's just black, gee dark. And again, the stout base, that steeping bit of the wheat and the rye, it's all part of getting that sort of effect. Anyway, we could sit here and faff about all day. Let's have a taste on her. Okay, there's a lot going on there. And it's easy to say there's a lot going on there. You could almost quite easily say there's nothing but ginger, because that seems to be, it's not doesn't seem to be. It is the dominant flavour. It's the dominant effect is that ginger. But as it's going through your mouth, there is just so much other stuff happening around the fringes. Right, that second mouthful, the ginger is not as prominent. There's coffee, chocolate, vanilla, toffees. Oh, there's a lot there. It's like a bloody music festival, and you got the main stage, and you got all these little things going on everywhere else. And as you're wandering around, you're just picking up all these little things. butterscotch pudding. Really, yeah, the ginger, now a couple of mouthfuls in the mouth adjusting. The ginger that is there initially really settles and just becomes just a part of the beer. And it's, yeah, it's really nice. Lovely body. It's got plenty of body, but it's not real super thick and heavy. But it just wants to sit in your mouth. There is no hint of lightness there at all. No thin bits, no hollow sections. There's a bit of aniseed coming on now. A little bit of that licoricey type of note. There's some little dry burn in the back of the mouth as well that's coming on. Now it's not alcohol, it's 4.8% in the keg. Yeah, so despite the fact we've got the 3 cans in the brew, it's not high alcohol. Yeah, 4.8, geez, standard, very standard strength. So not going to knock you around, and it feels like it should. Feels like it should do a lot more damage than what it will. It does feel a lot bigger than what it is. Pardon me. And I thought it might have got a little bit higher than what it did, but it finished at 10.18. So it has maintained a lot of that body. Yeah, that's nice. Yeah, it's not that big, bold, needs to be drunk on a really cold night by the fire type of stout. It does have a quantity. Does have a quality, which I think would lend it quite well to being a warmer weather beer. Maybe not particularly a summer beer, but certainly drinking through spring as the weather's warming up. I think no problem at all drinking that. It's light enough that would work, and I think that to some degree that comes down to the 05. Yeah, so look, it's very much a mix of ginger beer and stout. I said not big, buffy stout, but stout with a little bit more oomph than just your standard, run-of-the-mill pub stout. I think if you like your ginger beer, if you like your stout, certainly worth a crack. I find it interesting how the 3 tins have worked together, and I mean obviously I think it's something you're not going to do too often. That when the ginger beer worked in on its own, you're not going to get 3 tins together quite so easily on a normal sort of a beer. But yeah, no, that has worked. I think it would be interesting to see how that went if it wasn't using the ginger beer tin, if it just had, say, I don't know, like half a kilo of ginger, steeped and boiled along with the grains, steep the grains and then add some ginger, and then boil the ginger with that, with the grain liquid, and add that, pull down the pull down maybe the intensity a little bit of the ginger. I think that might pull some of that little bit of dry back edge off it. But for me, that's a winner, for sure. Not going to beat everyone's liking, no doubt about that. But it's a nice beer. That has worked out well. So, guys and gals, Extractaganza number 21, Mullos Choc Ginger Stout. Gets thumbs up for me. Worth having a look at. The stout base seems fairly solid. I think without the ginger there, I think there's a decent little stout sitting there. I think the steep grain certainly would be something I'll be keeping if I was working on just that base stout though. It's working there. I think I'm trying. Yeah, it's a bit hard to tell exactly how this would go with the ginger pulled out. But I said there's those chocolates and those pudding notes that are sitting there. They're coming from the stout underneath. So I think that's going to work okay. But anyway, that's me. As always, thank you to all the patrons of the channel. Link down the bottom if you're interested. If you're subscribed, thank you. If you're not, hit the subscribe button down there in the bottom. If you like the video, give me a thumbs up. Comments and questions down the bottom as always. Next Extractaganza is Black Rock Pilsner Blonde. It's done, it's finished. And again, this is with Dry July. I got that done. I've split that in half, and I've made the second half into a black lager / Schwartz beer type of thing. I'm really looking forward to see how that goes. Hope you'll join me on that one. So until I see you on the next video, we're brewing beer, drinking beer or talking beer, good brewing.